This is what I get for having my co-host do the hosting all the time. This is the life I lead, I guess. Properties. Yeah, I should probably fix that. Thank you. Okay, got my audio. Yeah. You liked it. You played Dead Cells? Ah, that's a good game. Do you like those style of games? What's your favorite roguelike? Oh, okay. Yep, that'll do it. That's mine is Spelunky, but FTL is a very close second. Oh, I'm so excited that Spelunky 2 is a thing. I am. Okay. Now, yeah, it's pretty much Spelunky 1, but with a few extra deals on it. But it sounds good. Audio output capture. Why do I have to add these manually? Defaults. All right. Chat again for me.
Yeah, this is me chatting.
There we go.
We
All
in?
right. Yes. Orange, is that correct? Are we doing okay now?
Yeah, I heard us over there. We're good.
All right, cool. Good. Great. Okay, so sorry about those technical difficulties here for a bit, but that's how this
No
goes
worries.
sometimes. So, again, when did you start out streaming, and what sort of games did you start with, or what sort of streamer were you at the beginning?
All right, let's do this. So I've been streaming for about a year and a half now. I started back in October 2017, near the end of it.
Okay.
And I was actually quite a bit different of a streamer way back then. I started out with a completely different idea of what streaming was, what I wanted out of streaming, who I wanted to stream to, all that business. So the first game I ever streamed actually was, I had quit my job just before that, not to stream, of course, because you shouldn't do that. That's a terrible idea. But for other reasons, I'd quit my job, and that left me time to stream. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm not gonna think about it too much. I'm just gonna jump in there and do it. Which I'd say many people just say, don't stress about it. If you want to start streaming, just start, get in there and do it, and then figure it out as you go. So I started doing that. And so the first game I ever played was The Evil Within. My idea being like The Evil Within, I haven't played yet. I've been looking at playing it, and then The Evil Within 2 is coming out after that, so I can just go right into the second one. That'll be a nice popular game that's come out recently. I can jump right into that. So I tried it, and I had streamed The Evil Within a couple times. Like, I freaking hate this game. I never want to play this again. I do not enjoy it. That's
the Resident Evil designer, right? That's the game
I
I'm thinking of.
I can't remember if RE designed it or not. It kind of seems like it a little bit. It's that third person view and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of the same thing. I did not hear great things about that game, but
I didn't get into it. No, I think you have to really, really love horror games, and I don't really, really love horror games. I like them, but anyways.
So what do you think you streamed or were excited about and wanted to stream a horror game if you're not really a fan of them?
It wasn't even that I was excited about them. It was more just like, hey, this big game, this like sequel to this popular game's coming out. I want to get on that, and I'll go from there. Like I said, I'm just jumping in and starting.
Yeah, chasing the stream and dragging a little bit.
Exactly. So I tried that out, and I was like, okay, well, screw this noise. I don't want to continue with that. What I do love though is Dark Souls. So I started streaming some Dark Souls with the idea of getting good eventually, and doing some challenge streams of that, and maybe trying some speed running of it, and that didn't work out either. Neither of those things really worked out. I did a soul level 1 run of Dark Souls 3, so that was cool. I did do that. That's more than many people do.
Yeah, more than I've been able to do. So
yeah,
never beaten a Dark Souls game. So good job.
I say they're good times. I love them. So I did that, but I also streamed Neo because that was like supposed to be like a Souls-like sort of. Yeah. Absolutely hated it. I was also at the time in my infancy of streaming upset that like, why aren't people coming to watch this? Like, well, maybe because you're streaming something that you absolutely hate. You're also not very good at. You're having a terrible time at it. Like who would want to watch this? And I eventually got that through my skull and said, okay, I'm not going to play stuff that like I don't enjoy anymore. Stuff that I don't want to be playing, Right. So since then I kind of haven't, and I've been better about stopping a game if I don't want to stream it, if I don't want to continue it. So in the beginning, I kind of started out thinking like, okay, I played a game, and like, now I have to finish it. I must finish this game, or else nothing really. It was totally like a self-imposed restriction I put on myself that just had no merit at all.
It's like you're a kid again and you spent all your Christmas money on this game and it's like, well, this is what I have, so this game's getting finished no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. As more as I thought, like people are going to like it less if I don't finish the game, which like no one cares about that. Right. Like ultimately, who cares? Like there are people that like never touch a video game on their stream. People still show up. So like it can't have that much to do with that, right?
Right.
So
where are we now? Yeah, what month or year are we in at this point?
Oh, let's see. That would be probably Christmas time to January of 2018.
Okay, so a couple months in.
Yeah, a couple months into streaming. Still a little bit of Dark Souls stuff.
Yeah. What was your old job, if you don't mind my asking?
My old job, I was a speech language pathologist.
Right. Okay.
A speech therapist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worked in schools, and that's way more work than a person should ever need to do for a work day. It's ridiculous.
What are we talking? Like how many hours in a work day?
At least 12 most days. It was ridiculous. Yeah. If you want to do your job right, around 12-hour days every day. And then we're talking at least 12-hour day on a weekends too.
Yeah. I can see why streaming waited until that job was over, huh?
Yeah. I just had no time for anything else. I had no time to spend time with my wife. I had no time for self-care. I had no time for mental health care either. And I was in the worst shape of my life. I couldn't do anything to better my situation while I still had that job,
How did your wife react to all that?
She thought I was happy. So,
yeah.
And that she was also in graduate school. So I kind of, we needed a job, I made enough to support both of us easily. Yeah. But after she graduated and is also a speech therapist, now we don't need just my income. So we can, I was able to, drop back on the responsibility and the income and all that stuff. And I'm a much better, not only a happier employee, but a better person overall now,
because work not eating your life doing that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. My mental health's a lot better. My physical health's a lot better. I'm able to have some free time outside of work. I can pursue hobbies and passions such as this. So yeah.
Cool. So absolutely. What does your wife think about your streaming? What is she?
She's fine with it. She likes it. Yeah, she likes it. She's not very involved with it because she's busy in her own stuff, and I try to bring her into it some, but she just, I don't know. I don't want to say it's over her head, but it's just she's like, I'm glad you love it. It's fine.
Yeah, just not interested.
Yeah, she's not super interested in it, but she wants me to do it if it makes me happy, and she wants me to succeed at it, and she's always happy when I have a success story to share and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, no, most people I talk to that stream any sort of amount of time have very supportive significant others in some way or another. My wife likes that I do this. She never wants to be on a stream. She's a very private person, but it's just always interesting to me to get different perspectives on how they feel about that sort of thing. So
yeah, my wife's been on the stream a little bit during the last celebration stream we had. We braided my beard and I made some put some gold glitter and stuff and like that. Nice. Kind of glitter bombed my beard. Yep. So she came in to help out with that, but she didn't show her face or nothing like that.
How long has the beard been growing?
This one's been a couple years now. It's been about this length. It's been about it's been about this length for I don't know, since 6 months after I started growing it out. Okay. But yeah.
So you had it the whole time you streamed, you had the beard? There was no sudden transition?
No, my beard's been a part of the stream as much as I have.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, but let's see, where was I?
Yeah, we're rolling into December, January when you first started streaming. You just finished Dark Souls and tried out Neo.
Yeah, I started branching out a bit more, I think, in games that I played, and also started looking at a bit more variety in things, because I knew I was, after trying to just bang my head against the wall with Dark Souls so much, I knew I'm not going to be the kind of person that can just stream one game over and over again. Yeah. I need some variety in my life. I'm going to have to do that. And there's always the adage, if you're a variety streamer, you're going to grow slower. And I'm okay with that. If I'm a variety gamer and I enjoy it and I can show the best of myself when I'm on stream, but I grow slower, that's still better for me, because if I just continued with one game and tried to just do that and grow that way, I would end up quitting streaming because I would hate it. So I think long term, that was the choice that I made, was to just be a variety streamer.
Right. Okay. So how'd you ease yourself into variety streaming? I don't know. I tweeted the wrong tweet. I didn't tweet what I thought I did, so I'm trying to get this fixed. If you see me looking at my phone, I do apologize for that.
I figured it was something like that. No worries.
Yeah, how'd you get into the variety part of it? What'd you start with?
Let's see. Let's see. Some of the first games I played Hollow Knight. That was awesome. I played Doki Doki Literature Club. That was awesome. I just basically picked up game.
About that one.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of game where you're like, it's a freaking masterpiece, or you're like, I don't ever want to see a game like that ever again.
Did you know the like twist by that game going into it, or did you get surprised by that?
I knew very little about it.
Okay, all right. So then that's probably a lot more effective in that case then. I played a little bit of that game, and I knew what it was going in, so whenever it happened, it's like, oh, that's clever. Like, did you ever play Undertale?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I did. I loved it.
Okay.
It was amazing.
See,
I didn't play it on stream, but I played it off stream. I was like, this is amazing.
Okay. That's probably smart. I don't think I'd ever play a story-based, heavy, like, easily spoiled game like that on stream, so that's a good call.
Yeah. Having seen other people play a little bit of it, I don't think I ever want to share my experience with that game on stream. Just the fan base is extremely, I guess, aggressive.
Yeah.
is a good term for it.
Yes.
So that's not one I would want to do, but like other story games I've played, that's fine for the most part.
Yeah. How do you decide what it is that you want to stream? You're going into a variety streamer. You don't want to just get locked down into one game. Yeah. How do you decide what to play?
So back then I was more just kind of playing whatever caught my fancy, just like whatever came up. You know, I would play just anything that sounded good. I played Far Cry 5, which is like way out of my wheelhouse nowadays. Just anything that came up that I thought sounded cool, or other things that I saw other people stream that looked really fun. I'd play that too. Nowadays, I kind of keep it more to a consistent kind of, or like a consistent like core game, or like set core of games, and then maybe branch out once in a while if there's something kind of in the genre that I normally play that looks really interesting to me. So nowadays, I stick more. I kind of brand myself as a strategy and story-driven streamer, but also, I mean, first and foremost, neuroscience. But we also, you know, have some variety gaming in the strategy and story-driven wheelhouse as well.
Okay. Yeah,
so
we're getting into the neuroscience part. I've been waiting to do this. I just didn't know how long to keep it off the interview.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Yeah. So what I like to ask people, I like to do this at PAX and just spring this on them, but I ask them to describe their channel without telling me what games they play. Do you think that you could do this?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we are, one of the core beliefs for myself as a streamer is that I want to bring more knowledge to the world. I want to increase people's knowledge, especially in relation to how we as people work and how we interact with one another. I believe really strongly that will, that can make it easier for us to interact with one another, understand one another, see each other eye to eye, and react with differences of opinion or beliefs or behavior or whatnot with less, ignorance, hatred, things like that.
Right.
And the way that I can do that best is by teaching, science, life sciences, and especially neuroscience, because that's totally my jam. Yeah. So that's what I include in each of my streams. 3 out of the 4 nights of the week, I have something neuroscience based, some sort of neuroscience discussion that I've come up with to teach everybody about. And of course, it's very chat focused. So every once in a while I stop and just like catch up on chat, talk with everybody, take questions from them and all that stuff. And I'm willing to get somewhat off topic. It's fine. I have in our values, our rules, I state there that we'll talk about pretty much anything as long as it's growth minded. We can agree to disagree and we're civil about it. I kind of don't care what we talk about.
Ooh, that's tough on the internet sometimes.
It is. I mean, I've met with success so far. There haven't been any real difficulties just yet. Yeah. So that's what I do. And then after the neuroscience teaching piece is done, we'll move into some variety gaming for the rest of the night.
Does neuroscience bit still get sprinkled in throughout the gaming sessions as well? Because I imagine if you're that passionate about something, it's hard to keep those two things all that separate.
Yeah. I try to connect what we're doing to put my own neuroscience spin on it and the way I see it, and a science spin on things. That's kind of who I am. That's the way I see the world. So I kind of can't separate a lot of things like that. And gaming is no different in my opinion. And also,
an example of a recent neuroscience spin that you had to talk about on chat or talk about yourself?
Oh gosh, let's see. I don't off the top of my head. Geez.
That's all right. That's kind of a hard thing to.
Yeah. I don't remember the last one exactly.
It's like once I in-stream, all of my knowledge of what happened for the last 3 hours just ejects from my brain. So I totally get that.
I hear you. But yeah, I do invite chat to continue those kind of conversations or come up with their own questions. Or in the bot, there's programmed questions people can come up with, or people can prompt there if we want to have a conversation about this kind of things, or just answer it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So what is the Knowledge Fellowship here? I saw that when I was going over your page a while ago, and I wanted to ask about that because I like the idea of learning while watching streams instead of just watching the same chit chat back and forth about current events and stuff.
So the Knowledge Fellowship is a group of EDU streamers or educational streamers on Twitch. Okay. So it was founded by like a biologist and a geologist who stream on Twitch, and since then has kind of invited more and more people to that that group. It's just basically a kind of an informal. It's not really a stream team, but it's kind of just an informal group. They have their own Discord and all that stuff. It's free for anybody to join, really. Okay. Whether or not you're a streamer, if you just want to be there and find more educational streamers, you can do that. And then if they they kind of come check out each person that comes in and says that they stream educational content, and if you make the cut as per se, they will kind of invite you to be a actual EDU streamer in their Discord, and then you get the going live shout out and all that stuff, and people can see you and find you. It's just another place for people to find you, and place for EDU streamers to get together, put their heads together, and stream educational content better.
Yeah, that's really cool. Who are some of your favorite educational content streamers on Twitch?
My friend Anxiety is a good one. She does a lot of mental health advocacy and stuff like that.
I think I have an interview with her coming up at the end of the month.
Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. She's very prolific right now. There's her. Rocket Sage is an awesome person. She's one of the people that started TKF. She's the geologist. She's actually was live a few minutes ago, actually. She's live right now. There she is. So she's awesome. Let's see. Dr. WD40 is the biologist. He's awesome too, but he can't stream as much lately. Unfortunately, kind of conflicts with his job.
Yeah, I imagine people with that kind of background have a little bit busy lives sometimes.
yeah, among other things. Nicandria is another great one. She's just passed the bar. Actually, she's like a full-fledged lawyer up in Canada. Actually, yeah. So there's all kinds of different things. There's a guy named Demon Machine on there who basically just streams from his garage, and he just the garage that he works in, and streams fixing cars and all that stuff during the week, and on weekends talks politics. Okay. So
politics is a tough place to get in on Twitch. That's cool.
It can be. So yeah, there's a lot. I mean, pretty much anything under the sun is over there, from like molecular biology to like different types of psychology, all kinds of different stuff. There's another recently inducted person called Mo the Bone Lady she's an animal skeleton preparator. So she just on stream on stream just puts together animal skeletons that she's working on and stuff like that. So really cool stuff.
That is cool. Yeah. That's a really interesting approach to streaming too, because a lot of streamers that you go and watch are like, yeah, I'm really trying to make Twitch my full-time job, and which is cool, but it's interesting to see people with a strong education background. Like someone who just passed the bar probably isn't going to stop being a lawyer to be a Twitch streamer anytime soon. And I think it's good because it gives people more perspective on the world and on things that are happening. And so it just, the more different perspectives that you can bring to streaming and that people can bring makes it a wide place. So with that in mind, what is your background in neuroscience, and how did you get involved in this idea of streaming?
So my background in neuroscience is mainly from my college days, my earlier college days. I started as a psychology major and went to a school that basically taught kind of only applied behavior analysis or counseling. But there's one professor who also taught neuroscience classes. And I was like, oh my God, this has always been my jam. And I didn't know it until I took this class. So I took all those classes, just absorbed as much information as I could. Went to graduate school there. In my young 20s, it wasn't a good choice because they didn't really have a neuroscience program. And, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, just her. And, they didn't really have like neuroscience, like any sort of like lab to do any neuroscience, experiments and stuff like that. I couldn't really do a thesis kind of centered around that as much. I don't know. I feel like I should have been counseled by them to like, hey, if you really love this stuff, you shouldn't be going here. But they're not going to turn away a customer, Yeah. So I ended up
one of those experiences in college too. I get how that goes.
Yeah. But so I took a lot of kind of undergraduate like chemistry, biology, cellular molecular biology, zoology, anatomy, physiology, a lot of those courses to kind of like the way the program was is like you kind of built your own, you kind of just like took your own, like whatever classes you want till, as long as they were graduate level courses, they all counted. So in order to get to those graduate level, like bio classes, I had to go through the undergrad ones. So I ended up not finishing that program. I just couldn't get past the thesis part.
Yeah.
My thesis chair and I had a bit of a falling out over a paper we were authoring together, and she was basically the only person that was going to sit on my thesis for me.
Yeah.
It was kind of a popularity contest there. You kind of had to have somebody that wanted to do it. There was nobody assigned to get you through that.
Right.
So that kind of sucked. But so I didn't finish that. Took a couple years off and worked for a while, and then went back to school to be a speech therapist. And that also entailed some neuroscience training as well, with respect more to the science of, or the neuroscience of speech and language, and also speech and musculature, and basically above the neck and all that stuff. So get to kind of bone up and learn a lot of new stuff there. And then
is that
yes,
all right, good.
a little bit. Yes.
So what is neuroscience exactly? What's the definition of it for people that might not quite understand?
Basically the study of the brain and nervous system. Yeah. And how that there's many different fields of it, but the parts I've always been most interested in are behavioral neuroscience, or just behavioral neuroscience, basically how activity in the brain relates to our behavior, or what that makes us do,
Yeah. So what do you think gave you the initial interest in that sort of thing? Why do you think this is something that you're so passionate about?
Gosh, I couldn't say. Like I said, I took that first class and I was like, this is just something that I love. I love knowing how things work already. And I've always kind of been interested in how the human body works, but I just didn't realize, I guess, like I said, I was young, I didn't really have a lot of chances to put those kind of things together. There weren't a lot of courses built around that in the junior college I started at.
I don't know anything about neuroscience. It's definitely part of the Common Core. So.
Exactly. So, which is another reason I'm streaming it on Twitch, is because I want to get the word out there. It's like, this kind of thing exists, and like you can like learn about this. You can go to school for it in places. You like, the information's available on the internet if you want to go look at more of it. Like, it's all there. You just have to know that it even exists in the first place, I think. So, like I said, I took that first class, and like, that was just, I knew that was my jam. I'd never heard of anything like it before. And like, I had a knack for it. I loved it. I couldn't wait to learn more. I couldn't say what exactly about it. I don't know. I couldn't say what exactly about it, like any one quality that made it stand out for me, other than just the fact that I wanted to eat up all of it.
Once you knew it existed, it clicked.
Exactly.
It's definitely something I should understand more. So I have ADHD, and I know that a lot of that is, neuroscience related, as most conditions like that are. But I should probably do a bit of research about. Have you ever done a show about that, about ADHD or ADD or anything like that?
Funny you should mention that. We're doing it tomorrow.
Hey, there we go. I was going to say, do you have any resources I can check out? But there we go. I will have to come by for that.
Yeah, we're definitely checking that out tomorrow. But going over just basically raising some awareness about what it is, common treatments for it, and basically the neuroscience behind it, as far as neuroscience knows right now, because it's still kind of under investigation.
Yeah.
As to where exactly in the brain attention even lies in the first place, like what parts of our brain even are responsible for attention besides all of it. What parts are responsible in certain contexts. So there's a lot of research going on with that, but there have been some discoveries made. I want to share those.
So how much of your field has changed since you got an education in neuroscience? I feel like it's, at least what I hear all the time, is that we still don't understand a whole ton about how the brain operates anyway, and what exactly makes it tick. But maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm grossly under-exaggerating. But have there been any big changes in understanding of how neuroscience works since you started?
You aren't exaggerating at all. There is still very much a lot that we do not know about the brain. It's still very heavily investigated. And I gotta say, what I've heard now is that it is moving so fast. The amount that we are discovering about the brain is just progressing so fast that professors writing textbooks, people writing textbooks and publishing those textbooks can't keep up with it. They can't keep up with and make that current, journals can barely keep up with it. Like, people can't do research fast and disseminate those fast enough to keep people on the cutting edge with them.
That's really cool, though. That's awesome that it's all just escalating in at an exponential scale and just growing at that rate. That's got to be really awesome.
It's absolutely wild. Yeah, it's amazing. So there's just new imaging techniques. There's new, there's more interest in it. There's just so much happening all the time that there's breakthroughs all the time. No, I couldn't even say all of them because there's just so much. There's so much to know that there's no one person is going to have all the currents.
Right. So what do you do to keep up to date?
I try to skim major journals that I know are open source that I can read without paying ridiculous fees for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I figured it wasn't just watch YouTube videos or do some light Googling. I feel like once you get into that specific and that sort of topic, it takes a little bit more effort to learn stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Googling and Wikipedia and all those things, those are good to get like a general sense
Hmm.
of a topic. But if you want the latest stuff,
Yeah.
you want to go to those journals for sure. So look at like Cell or Science Direct has access to a lot of great journals. Or oh gosh, what's the other one I look at? There's another one whose name I forgot off the top of my head, unfortunately. But yes, I mean, I look at a few different journals, just kind of skim those once a week or so. So they don't update them super often, and just look for anything that looks super interesting to me. There's a lot where that like I'm not super into, like the genetic parts of things. I'm not super into as much.
Okay.
So I look for those kind of things.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that you're not a student. There's not anything you're mandated to learn. You're just doing this because of a passion and a drive for it. That's
Indeed,
cool.
I do.
What's your cat's name? Sorry, I've been meaning to ask this for.
This is Fat Boy, and he's on stream most nights, just waiting here, just like this. Chat has the ability to give him treats and stuff like that every once in a while. So there's like a whole separate like kitty cam and stuff like that
Is that
that
how
we
he
go
became
to.
Fat Boy? Did he start as skinny boy, then the chat got involved? Or?
He's always been fat. I've had it since he was a little kitten, and he's always been fat at heart, even if he wasn't fat at body.
That's adorable. Do you know anything about cat brains?
I do. They're very distinct for sure. Yeah, they're set up differently. They're better at balancing than we are for sure. They have more, not more of their brain, but they have a different system for balance than we do that makes it so they're a lot better at it. It's not just the tail that makes them better, but neurologically they're wired differently to have better balance than we are. So
Man, I was just
is why they can.
dreaming, but I'm glad you had an answer for that.
Yeah, like they can walk across a fence very easily, whereas we can't, and it's more than just the 4 feet and a tail thing. It's their cerebellum and stuff is wired differently. So
Do you have a favorite or a couple favorite like neuroscience facts that most people wouldn't know or most people aren't aware of?
I do, yeah.
Right.
So
It's probably in your
one,
about section on your Twitch page somewhere, and I just didn't catch it.
they're on Twitter and on Instagram too. Yeah. But I try to put out like brain facts on those media just to kind of get that
keep up
information
with
out there.
those. I was aware
Yeah,
that there's at least some
awesome.
of them out there.
Awesome.
It's always nice learning a little bit during my day.
Yeah. So one of them, this is one I talk about a lot because many people find it amazing and don't know it, is that there is a specific part of our brain actually designed to find faces, to recognize faces.
Yeah.
And people without that, such as Brad Pitt, actually has a deficit in this area. They have a term called prosopagnosia, where they can't recognize faces. Like they don't recognize them. So like, for instance, people like Brad Pitt will meet a person and have a conversation, all that, work with them for a while, or even, and then that person will come back later and they'll be like, I can you tell me where I met you again? Like, I don't recognize you. I don't know who you, yeah.
Man.
And yeah. He was saying like he has all the time. People think he's just being stuck up or conceited or whatever. He's like, no, I can't remember you. I'm sorry. Like, I want to, and he said I don't leave the house much because of that, because I just like offend people every time I go out.
Yeah, that's got to be tough because no one believes you, I'm sure, especially when you're Brad Pitt and you have that level of cachet and success. People are just like, oh, I'm just some non-important ant to him, and he doesn't even bother. So that's
exactly, yeah. When you're in a field where you're expected to schmooze and remember people, and you literally have a physiological deficit that makes it so you can't.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Yeah.
Do you think they compensate by understanding voices better, or is it like a Daredevil situation?
I couldn't say how a person like that would consummate yeah, I couldn't say. It doesn't sound like it's working. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's working that well for a person like him, at least, because it's not, if it's not clicking as soon as he hears their voice,
Yeah. I'm sure voices start to sound the same too after a while. So,
Mm-hmm.
So how did you first start integrating neuroscience stuff with streaming? When did you get the idea for it, and what did you start to do when you were first starting out?
So I work with actually a stream coach, and we've been working on. It is. It is indeed. I wasn't going to be naming no names, but yes, it's her.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So I work with her, and we've been working for a while to try and find my niche, because I mean, it's kind of gone to the days of starting up a stream and just playing video games. You kind of have to do a bit more than that nowadays. Yeah. Unless you are like an absolute phenom of the game, or you are just entertaining as heck. Neither of which is what I am. Like I'm just neither of those things naturally. Right. So If you're neither of those things, you got to bring something different.
Right.
Whether you're crafty or you just have a unique thing you do of sorts, you got to bring something new. So we just, spent a lot of time searching through my passions, searching through my knowledge base and all those things. We hit on, I love neuroscience. I know a lot about neuroscience. I can teach neuroscience. I used to teach neuroscience as a TA and stuff like that. Like, I know the stuff.
What were some of the other things you went through before you hit neuroscience?
We talked about speech language pathology.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, you could be like an SLP person or SLP, the streamer for SLP or the SLP for streamers, and like talk about voice disorders and stuff. And I was like, there's really not a ton to functional voice disorders besides, don't do that thing that's hurting your voice as much. Get some vocal rest, practice better vocal hygiene. Don't yell. I mean, there's not a lot to it more than that. Plus I'm burnt out in the field and I don't want to do it. So I'm not gonna.
That makes a lot more sense. That's a stronger reason probably.
Yeah. We also talked about photography. Like I'd recently, like with me getting into Instagram, I discovered like, wow, I freaking love photography. Like, wow, this is awesome. I love it. Like
Instagram sometime. I don't run our Instagram, so I miss everybody's there. But
no problem. It's all good.
Note to check it out.
Yeah. The newer, the stuff that's on the top there is stuff that I've been trying that's new and more neuroscience based, but the stuff below that is stuff I've actually taken and edited myself. Okay. And that was well received for how small of a following I have.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I found out I absolutely love that. I have a decent eye, I feel like. I have a knack for Photoshop. Like, this is awesome. Yeah. So we talked about that as something possible, but I was like, I don't feel like I have the knowledge base for that. I don't think I could be teaching people how to do that yet because I'm still learning.
Did you
and plus it takes a long,
because everything that you've talked about so far is teaching other people. So is that something that you realized early on you wanted to do?
Nope, not at all. Like I said, I started out wanting to be like a Dark Souls meme streamer, and dude, that had nothing to do with teaching at all. I didn't even, because at the time I didn't even know that was a thing you could do.
Right.
But then we just kind of stumbled on my love of that. Like, oh, EDU streaming is like a thing. Oh my God, I can do this. Yeah. Yes. So that's what I do now. What I'm known for now is I'm a neuroscience streamer.
I knew that the community probably existed, but I never actually did enough research into it. But now that you've brought this to light and I have a resource to go look at, I'm excited to learn more about all this. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
So
go ahead.
Go on.
I say EDU streaming exists, but as far as I know, like besides me and like one other person does touches on neuroscience a little bit, I'm the only person that streams actual like neuroscience content on Twitch, which is cool because I mean it's unique. Not a lot of people are going to be. I mean, it's not like anybody can just pick up a camera and start doing this because there's a bit of a knowledge gate there. So I mean. Yeah, I did learn some, collegiate level stuff about it, whatever. So, I mean, yeah, it's a nice niche to have, I think, and I absolutely love it. And I mean, since I've started doing that back in like November, I took a week off and like I'm rebranding. I'm just like redoing everything. I'm reformatting my stream. And since I did all that, I've just noticed like way more growth.
Yeah. What's the time frame on this? When did you start putting a neuroscience spin on your streams?
Back in November.
November. So about a year after you started.
Yeah.
Did you stream consistently through the year up to that point, or did you kind of fall off? Okay.
No, I streamed consistently this whole time. Like I said, I took a week off in November just to like, hey, I need time to work on back end stuff. I'm going to come back rebranded, new format, all this stuff. And I did. I went for it. It's great.
Cool. So how did you start to were you worried that there wouldn't be an audience for neuroscience on Twitch?
Yes. I was very worried about that. I was definitely worried about it. Took some convincing from Ashley, like, no, look at YouTube, like, look at this. There's knowledge fellowship, like there's all this stuff. Like, there's obviously more to this. There's definitely like an audience out there for you. Yeah. You just have to put the content. Like, people don't know that they want it yet. You have to go show them that they want it.
Yeah.
So
what did you have a strategy to approach finding an audience, or do you have any plan for marketing yourself and getting yourself out there?
I didn't yet, and I'm still working on that. The most recent stuff on my Instagram is me trying to do that, and I don't think I did it super well, just based on the engagement that I had there. Okay. And so no, when I started, no, I didn't have that, and that's still in progress. I know Instagram is the best way to do that, but like I can't go take pictures of brains. I mean, that doesn't freaking work. Yeah. That's not legal.
You could do it for a little bit, People have.
Yeah, maybe a couple times, and then
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't know about
I
stream again. They might catch on a little quick.
Yeah, yeah. And like I have not an artistic bone in my body as far as drawing or painting, so I can't like make a brain picture. Like I don't,
Right.
yeah, you know, as I just wrestle for a long time. I didn't even do Instagram just because like I don't know what to do with it. So then I came back and like I'm just gonna take pictures and like put brain facts on there and boom. Hopefully that works. That's something I can do. That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But no, I think I want to go back to like the actual photography I was doing,
Yeah.
and then like talk about neuroscience in the comment. Like, hey, we talk about this here.
Yeah.
Here's it, because that's what Instagram sells.
That's,
It sells.
that's what I was going to suggest. Looking
Yeah,
at
it
this.
sells envy. Like Instagram sells envy. You want beauty on there.
Yeah, I saw Firefest.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That got people there, even though it was absolute garbage. And
Yeah,
you know the
but
creators of it.
marketing of it.
Yeah, the creators are laughing their way into the bank now because they made hella money.
Yeah, well, it turns out all you need to market your event is a ton of money, like $150,000 per Instagram post.
Yep, there you go.
Which also works for Apex Legends.
Yeah. I haven't heard too much about that one. I don't think
I've heard $15,000 per stream and things like that.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
yeah, hey, it worked. You know what? The game was good, and they made sure the game was good. So
There we go.
that's the most important part.
Yeah. So yeah, besides that, I started posting my my videos to Reddit twice a week, and that's brought a lot of new audience, and I have people come somewhat regularly come and say, hey, I found you on Reddit, or I'm here from Reddit because I saw you talking about neuroscience. I'm interested in that. I'm like, hell yeah, great.
So it's a good response from Reddit, because
Yes.
posting to Reddit can be a very double-edged sword there.
It can, but the kind of threads that I would post to aren't like the normal meme threads or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're very much, people are there for science. So like, I know what they're there for. You know what you're going to, I guess in what I post, I know what I'm going to get when I post there. Of course, I check with moderators, like, is it cool to post here? Is this fine? Because a lot of places are like, no, legit journal articles only, nothing else, get out.
I wasn't going to out
okay.
you just in case there's a self-promotion thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy, I have an influx of people from there, and I just need to work that Instagram more,
Yeah.
So
Do you have a plan for the future on how to keep carving out your own little space here in this part of the industry, in this part of content creation?
Yeah, the next thing I want to do is I just want to keep getting this content and my brand and me out there more. So the next thing I want to do is branch into podcasting. Okay. And I need to figure out what kind of format I want it to be. I need to and figure out like who I'm going to have on there, because the idea is that I have on people that have done research and or are doing research, come in and talk, in somewhat lay terms. So it's accessible for everybody. That's the whole point. I want it to be accessible for people and have them come in and explain their research and how it can benefit people, interesting facts and all that stuff. Their spin on things, their philosophy on neuroscience and research to everybody. But besides just cold calling professors at colleges, I don't really know how to do that just yet. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I was going to say the audience of people that make content on the internet and people that are into hardcore sciences is probably it's probably a small pool of people that you get to choose from and do that. So I could see that getting a little tricky in that part.
Yeah, it can be very tough. I mean, there's a somewhat local college that has a great neuroscience program. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I haven't tried yet, so I can't say that wouldn't work. I'm definitely willing to do it. I'm actually getting a cue in chat there. That's some encouragement. Yes, go do it.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to do
my high school stuff. Anyway.
That, and there is actually another streamer who is a neuroscientist, and I was like, he would want to be on if I asked him. I also could branch it out to people that have neurologically based disorders. Like, do you want to come share your story on that? How what it was like growing up with that, how you dealt with it, share your experience living with this disorder and all that, and talk about the neuroscience and research behind that some, because it doesn't have to just be neuroscientists. It could be more than that. So it's still kind of in the beginning phases. Like, I just barely started like an Anchor account. So
exactly, that's true. So would you stick to neuroscience, or would you stick to people who have special focuses in applied sciences and things like that?
I would try to stick to neuroscience and maybe some psychology. Usually pretty much anything to do with the brain, because I talk about psychological topics as well. Like we were saying before a stream, or before the interview, I did a piece on social comparison theory and stuff like that as well.
Right.
And that's not so much neuroscience. We talked a little bit of brain, because I kind of have to do it. That's just me. So we did like a little bit. That wasn't at all the focus of that stream, and that was fine. It was okay.
Right. Yeah. So you talked a little bit about it being accessible and putting things in layman's terms. What are some things that you do for your stream to make sure that it doesn't go over your audience's head?
I try to include as many examples, like real life examples of phenomena as possible. I make sure to definitely use visuals, and because like many people that stream, podcasts or just chatting or anything like that, like they can kind of just talk. I feel like I really need like visuals to talk about the brain, because like you can't most people ain't seen a brain before, like it's literally like foreign territory.
Yeah, certainly not a live one, not in a museum or something.
No, you can't just like look in the mirror and crack open the brain case, but oh, right there, okay. No, so like I have to.
Hypothalamus? Nope. Nope. Nope.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. Exactly. So I always try to include a lot of visuals and stuff like that. And I'm real big on like, hey, this is where it is. It's located to this other thing that we've talked about before. Remember those functions, right? Those go together. So I try to make sure to tie it into the knowledge that I've already installed on people. And also we go back once a week and have a review session. Because this is the kind of thing that bears repeating, like it's not the kind of thing you'd pick up just one time when you're done.
Yeah.
So,
makes sense.
I also made to start off with like more basic, like here's what a freaking neuron is. Here's the four different parts of it. Here's what an action potential is. Here's how synapses work. Like all that stuff, so that people kind of had a basis for it, because it all builds from there.
So, are you worried that for new people to come into your channel and new audience to show up, they'll have to go back and watch all of your old content and catch up, or is that a plus?
I'm not worried about it, but I do have people come in and say, hey, are you going to talk about how this works, or how does this process work? And I was like, well, actually, there's a VOD all about that. Feel free to go check it out in the VODs right now. I don't stop and go over that again if we're in the middle of another topic. But if people come in and have a question about it, which I always make sure to stop at least once a stream and say, hey, if you guys have questions, this is not just me lecturing on this. Feel free to just ask me a question and clarify. Never be afraid to ask for the information that you need to understand something. And also, take that mentality outside of the stream when you're done and go in real life and do that too. Never be afraid to ask for a question, to get the information that you need to pursue what you want to do, to understand something, and to get especially if you're in college, get the money's worth out of your education.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to ask those questions ever. There's never anything wrong with doing that. So.
Yeah, no, I was definitely about to pass that on. I was going to say, that's not just first, but it works out. Yes, ask questions. That's very good.
Exactly.
So how was the initial audience reaction to your neuroscience bit and to the transition into adding that in? Was it an instant good reaction? Was it what you expected? What are some things that you noticed there?
It was not an instant hit. Just looking at data, no, it wasn't an instant hit. And I knew it wasn't going to be that way, because I was going from just having a gaming stream to also streaming science. Like I knew like initially there was going to be a bit of kind of an audience shift. People were initially going to leave, and then new people were going to kind of come in and fill that space in. Right. And that's exactly what I saw. I kind of predicted it, and yes, that's it's exactly like I predicted it was. Okay. So
I was gonna say, were more or less people, but just
less people at first. Less people when they came in and saw that I wasn't just streaming games. Many people just left altogether. Yeah. And that's supposed to be expected. Yeah. Many of the people that like are like core people that like are anywhere are just going to be anywhere I am. Like people that are like true fans, like they stuck around, and I'm glad they did, of course. And there's also been a growth, just like a growth in audience, like brand new people coming in and finding it like, wow, what? I didn't know this existed on Twitch. Like, we're right here, 3 nights a week talking about neuroscience. Come on by. So, yeah.
Were you ever worried that it was maybe the wrong choice or the wrong thing to do?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't.
That's good.
I can't say I've ever. There's sometimes like, but see, for me, like my mental health makes it complicated, because I have chronic depression. Okay. So like I have trouble telling like, is this a bad idea, or is this just my brain saying that this is a bad idea? Because my brain says everything's a bad idea besides overeating, sleeping in, and not going to work, or like any other number of things that are bad for me, like, So I just kind of have to shut that voice. I'm like, no, like this is fine. Like I just need to do it harder. Like I need to do it more. Like if I'm ever in doubt, like, no, this is fine. Look at all the great feedback you've gotten. Like, come on,
Yeah.
it's going to be fine. Just keep at it.
Do you think your neuroscience background gives you a better perspective when fighting depression, or do you think that it maybe doesn't help as much as some people would think?
No, I think it does. I think it helps because I'm able to, I think growing up with it and then also learning about how the brain works after that, I'm able to know that like this is, and I figured this out when I was younger, like this is temporary. I'm not always going to feel this way.
Okay.
But I say nowadays with the neuroscience background and specific just research into how to get through depression myself, I've developed things that I can do to kind of, I don't know, if I catch it early enough to kind of knock myself out of it and get back up to that higher baseline that I'm always trying to be at.
What are some of those things, if you don't mind sharing?
I don't mind sharing at all. Get out and get some exercise. If I can take a break from work and just go like walk around the park or across the street for a bit, I'll go do that. If I'm at work and having some difficulties, walk around the neighborhood. If I'm at home, listening to like loud and upbeat music, that also helps. And I can often do that either at home or at work too.
What do you go to?
Oh gosh, I love like Undertale music. Music from Undertale is awesome. Like especially like oh gosh, Hopes and Dreams is like an amazing song. I love that one. That really helps bring me back up. Different EDM or dance music or electronic music, things like that. The things are just like really high energy.
Yeah.
Even because I mean, anybody who's had depression knows like you don't feel like listening to that music when you're depressed.
Right.
But like if you do it anyways, like that kind of just like instills back in you that energy and gets you out of that funk. And
yeah. So what chemically is going on there? Why is it that happy music tends to help in those situations?
Ooh, that's complicated.
Okay, well maybe that's too much of a question.
There's a lot going on. And that's still kind of under debate too, as to what exactly is happening during depression, because it can be different in certain people, which is why certain medications, certain SSRIs or SNRIs will work and others won't. I can't say, I haven't looked into so much like the neuroscience of like why upbeat music might increase a person's mood, because I don't even know if it would for everybody. And that's one of the beautiful things about neuroscience, I think, is that there's no absolutes in it. There's general trends.
Beautiful, not frustrating as hell, huh?
Yeah. For me, I think so. Yeah, okay. There's no one size fits all for everybody. There's always, you can't all. There's one thing that I say is like, you can never say always, you know, and you can and you can never say never either. Okay. Like with any principle in this kind of stuff, you just can't say those kind of things, because there's going to be somebody out there who works different than that. Like it doesn't apply to literally every single person. So
gotcha. Yeah, so you don't know why music works for your depression chemically and scientifically. You just know that it helps.
I couldn't say why. No, and it's going to go along with why mindfulness works for some people and doesn't work for other people. Why exercise helps some people, doesn't help other people. Why medicines help certain people and not others. Because like I tried medications and didn't do anything for me.
I'm
but I mean,
enough to be one of those that it does.
Yeah. See, exactly. Yeah.
But I hear horror stories all the time where people are like, no, you got to get off that medication. I'm like, no, it works fine for me. I'm going to keep doing this.
Exactly. The medications and our knowledge of how the brain works or doesn't work sometimes just isn't so honed in yet that we have the silver bullet for everybody. You know, there's no just like we can just, let's put you in the scanner real quick and we'll come up with the exact dose of this exact medicine you need to be right back on your feet. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like it's not that exact. And in my opinion, it's not going to be that exact for a very long time.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it hits that within our lifetime?
I don't think so. No, I mean, it's just like the way the brain is working at any moment or across any time changes so much that I don't know if you can do that. But I mean, maybe they'll find something out. Maybe there's people out there. I mean, there's certainly people out there that know more about it than I do. But I mean, I don't know. I don't, not within our lifetime. No.
What about robot limbs that read what your brain is thinking?
They already have those.
How well do they work?
They very gross movements, like open and close the hand, or like maybe move up and down. But they already have those. Yeah, they can already dial them into the nerves of your arm, and they have like somewhat functional cybernetic limbs. Yeah.
What is it reading? What is it doing?
It's reading the impulses in the nerves of your arm or your leg. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking it was like plugged into your brain, but reading nerve endings in your arm is easier to understand. That makes sense.
Yeah, you already got the wiring in your arm. Yeah, no need to go through the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so then do you have any games that you like or games that you've enjoyed that start to touch on mental issues or issues with the brain or things like that? Do you have anything that stood out as a good example?
Yeah, unfortunately, before I was playing, or before I was focusing on neuroscience, I mean, DDLC is a great one. Doki Doki Literature Club. I mean, that definitely touches on
Yeah.
mental health issues and things like that.
And you think
Yeah,
it does a
so
good
there's
job?
that. I think it's controversial.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to say because it's controversial, I think it does a good job. Because if it wasn't controversial, like maybe it'd be too milquetoast, you know, maybe it wouldn't hit that issue hard enough. If it doesn't make you think about it, if
Hmm.
it doesn't like really, I don't know. I think if it doesn't put some people off guard, maybe
Right.
it wasn't strong enough, you know?
Interesting. Do you have
That's
examples of stuff that wasn't committed hard enough that they didn't commit hard enough to?
no,
Okay.
no, they committed to a lot of things very, very, very strongly.
Okay.
Um, but no, no, I don't think so. I'm still waiting for the sequel to that game. There's supposed
Okay.
to be one, and I'm waiting for that.
Oh,
So,
when's it supposed
but
to
I
come
know
out?
that what's that?
When's it supposed to come out?
It was supposed to come out last year.
Oh,
So
uh-oh.
yeah, I hope that that's still a thing in the future.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So that there is actually a specific. I haven't played it much lately, just because I just haven't. But there is a game through the National Institute of Health that was designed through the University of Washington and
Mhm.
things like that, called Mozak, and it's actually about like, well, it's not really so much like a story. There's no story to it at all, but you basically go in and you trace neurons and their projections and all that stuff, to help make a better 3D picture of the brain, like in real life.
Okay.
Because the thing is, like, computers are really crappy at. Anybody who's ever tried to like Photoshop at all knows, if you try to like trace a very faint line or a very blurry line,
Yeah.
the computer cannot do that well at all.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
just can't see those things.
Yeah.
But our eyes can see that very well.
Yeah.
We can tell what's part of a picture and what's not very easily. So a lot of the pictures that we have of neurons are not super clear cut. They aren't, very crisp pictures. We just
Yeah.
don't have that kind of technology yet.
Interesting.
So the neuron pictures that we do have, they have humans go in and kind of trace them. And then an algorithm will come behind you and kind of put together an amalgamation of all the different traces people have done.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, is this what you want? Like, oh, okay. And after that first, what they call consolidation, you go back and fix it up again, and then
Right.
keep going until like the computer's got a good grasp of, yes, this is
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
neuron is, this is where the neuron isn't.
Yeah, it's like the machine, how you start off with machine learning, and it's what people are
Yeah.
doing with Google Captchas, wherever you're
Yeah.
translating old text into. That's really cool.
Kind of like that, exactly.
It's a cool project.
Yeah. There's another game that they've done previously called Fold It, where they're, in our body, there's proteins being synthesized within our cells and folded into the shapes that they're supposed to be all the time. That process happens kind of just automatically and without much error at all. Yeah, thankfully, yeah, we don't have to think about that process. It just happens.
Yeah.
So we want to have a better understanding of how they take this as long chains of proteins and amino acids and things like that, and how they just kind of crumple up into the shapes they're supposed to be consistently without really much doing. And we don't really have a great idea of that. So they started taking just like, here's the chain. Hey, everybody, see how you can fold it up into this shape with the least amount of moves possible or whatever, the most efficient way possible. So they gamified that too.
That's cool. So those are your favorite examples of people crowdsourcing science in a way, like crowdsourcing scientific discovery? I don't even know exactly what I'm trying to say, but I know for a time there was the idea of everybody's going to use parts of their PS3 processing power because of the cell processor, and we're going to all link together to donate our processing power towards scientific research projects. And
yeah, there's still a lot of that kind of stuff, like SETI and stuff like that. You can donate your spare processing power to, kind of, what's the word, analyzing those extraterrestrial signals coming and stuff like that.
cool.
The search for extraterrestrial intelligence and stuff like that.
Did Bitcoin come in and take a chunk out of that?
I don't know, actually. But there's lots of different projects like SETI. SETI's been around for a long time, since the early 2000s. But yeah, there's a lot of different programs like that where it's just they use your spare processing power when you're not using the computer and stuff like that.
Cool.
But these two things are more active, like you actually sit and do it.
Sounded like.
Yeah.
Cool. So what is the closest that you've been to quitting streaming, if there is a time that you've done that, and what all did you do to overcome that feeling and keep pushing on?
I can't say that I've come close to quitting. I've just never had that mind that gotten to that point where like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm done. I can't. No, nope. Um, because they say that there's no like golden rule to streaming. There's no like silver bullet. There's no number one successor. And I somewhat disagree with that. I think the number one thing that you can do is just don't stop. Always continue with it. Always try to get better. Always improve. If it's something's not working, try something different. Like always innovate. Keep at it. Like you're never going to succeed if you quit. But if you keep at it, if you always continue, if you always try harder, if you always look for that new niche, always innovate, you're going to get there eventually.
Yeah. No, I like that clarification of don't stop trying to improve.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be a time where, yeah, maybe you don't, but yeah, I mean, if you were always at it, I think that eventually everybody can succeed.
That's really cool. Okay, I think I'm about done here. Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss? Any particular area of neuroscience or its applications that would come up? I would ask, what do you do to push through on those days where you don't feel like streaming? But I feel like it's a combination of upbeat music and things like you said. Are there any other strategies other than upbeat music that you might recommend for when people are having those days where they're like, I just don't feel like hitting the go live button right now?
I would say don't. Like if it comes time for you to stream and you're just like really like, I don't have it in me today, like I'm not going to be able to entertain today, then take a day off. In fact, I'm a proponent of that. Like, don't do what the larger streamers that are very established do, that where like they have to stream every day or their audience is pissed because they built that up. They built up that behavior in the audience that they attracted.
Yeah, expectation.
They did. They totally did. Like you have to build in to your audience from the get-go, I think, that you're a human who needs time away from them, who this is eventually, or maybe now even, your job.
Yeah.
You have to have time away from that. Everybody needs a vacation from their work. Yeah. And streaming is no different. So, you need to instill in your audience from the beginning that, hey, I'm going to take breaks sometimes. If you can keep them to the same time of year, that's awesome. There's a streamer that I looked up to when I first started streaming, who just takes a couple of weeks off every year around the same time, and like that's a good idea. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And if you build in that expectation when you start, the people that you attract are going to know that about you, and you're not going to get any blowback from that.
Yeah, they're not going to freak out when it happens.
No.
So I've often found myself personally on the days where there are some days where I'm like, I don't feel like streaming, and then I don't because I can't. But some days once I start, it ends up being okay, and it turns out my brain was just trying to get in my way and trying to throw me off and stop me there. So do you have a way of differentiating those two feelings?
Yeah, I do. And I've had the same exact thing where I'm like, oh man, today's stream gonna suck. Oh my God. And then it turns out to be an awesome stream, I kind of broadcast in the beginning, like, hey, I'm not feeling the best right now, so sorry if my energy levels are a bit low. And most of my community is there to like, oh, hey, you're doing awesome. We're glad you're here. All that stuff, and it turns out to be an awesome stream. To differentiate those kind of things, geez, it's really hard. Like, there's no objective way to do it, really, for me at least. It's just kind of a feeling.
Neuroscience guy in here, and I got to ask you a bunch of hard questions.
That's okay. I love it. It's fine. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. That's how we engage. Or it's how we perceive our internal states, as those feelings or those internal emotions and stuff like that, right? Yeah. There's a specific part of our brain for feeling this kind of things. It's called the insular cortex. Is that fold on the side of your brain? It's kind of jammed in there. I don't have exactly. I don't have this is why I use visuals. Yeah. But that helps us sense our internal body states. That's what's going to help us to be kind of interoceptive there. And for me, it's just a strength of that feeling. If it's like really bad, we're like, I don't want to do anything, I shouldn't be streaming. But if it's one of those where I'm like, I'm kind of antsy, I don't know if I just don't have a good feeling about today's stream, I'm not feeling the best, I'll go still. I go still. It's there's a sense of absolute and finality that I look for. And
so
it's
tough.
Say
it's a practice thing. It's the more that you start to recognize when is a good time, when is a bad time, and maybe experiment one way or the other. Okay.
And I'd say that that's something many people should get in touch with. Not only like when you should and shouldn't stream, but like how do you feel at any given time, especially dudes. Like know how you feel, know your emotions. Know when you're feeling a certain way, how that affects your behavior and how that's going to affect your output.
Yeah. So you're telling me I shouldn't just crush all my emotions down into this little ball and hold them up in my stomach forever, like my dad probably wants?
I would absolutely recommend not doing that. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anything that you got? Okay, do you have any merch that you'd like to plug or anything you'd like to slide in here?
Unfortunately, no merch right now. The merch company that I was going through, they're shacking up or they're closing shop and at the end of the month. So
Okay.
no, unfortunately, I wouldn't want to put any big orders or anything on them on the last minute. And plus, yeah. So none of that right
No
now.
brain hats, not like Matt
No
with the
brain
brain
hats,
on it.
no
Okay,
brain
all right.
merch yet. No, nope.
Yeah.
But just Twitter, Instagram, and watch out for that Discord coming out.
All
So
right, cool. Well, I will say if you ever need any help with social media stuff, I don't know. I think I have a good handle on it. If you ever want any advice on it, feel free to
sounds
reach
good.
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was really fun talking to you. I feel like I learned a lot from this, and I haven't even gone back and watched a bunch of your other streams yet. I just catch them here and there, so I need to, especially the one in tomorrow, the ADHD stream tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah, come on by.
Yeah. So, what days do you stream, and what times can people find you?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. We stream Tuesday through Friday right now, starting at 5 o'clock PST every one of those days, and Wednesday, and Thursday we talk neuroscience in the beginning, and then variety gaming after that. And on Friday we just focus on gaming and relaxing. It's
Right.
chill Friday afternoon. So
That's a good idea.
unless something else comes up,
Yeah.
So yeah.
What games you playing lately? What can people see you go on?
We play a lot of Darkest Dungeon.
Okay.
That's a good strategic dungeon crawler. Really good one. I
Actually,
like that.
a weird interaction with mental health states too in that game.
Yes,
For a
yes,
lot of
exactly.
them. That's cool.
One of the first streams I actually did, we talked about, what is kleptomania and all that stuff beforehand. And then because we were starting a new run of Darkest Dungeon, and like one of the characters that you start with always has kleptomania. So like, hey, that was topical. It came right up. So
Yeah. Just get little like flashcards that come up with definitions whenever you're
there it
character
is.
gets
Exactly.
new afflictions. Yeah.
yeah. So we played Darkest Dungeon a lot. We started playing Wargroove on Friday. That's really fun. We're checking out Sunless Skies right now. Play a lot of RimWorld, a lot of FTL, a lot of Slay the Spire. Yeah, mostly strategic stuff nowadays.
Sounds
But
like I need to play
also
Slay the Spire because I love every single one of those other games that you mentioned.
STS is awesome, dude. It's really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, that's all I got for today. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for taking the time to come out. It was really fun talking to you. I feel like I really like that there are people out there like you that are pushing the EDU side of Twitch and pushing the, hey, we're spending all day on this platform. Like you can still come get the video games, the entertainment stuff that you want here, but also learn a thing or two about the brain. And as you said, it's not something that people learn about in school. It's not something that you get through high school or through even most college courses. So this is a really awesome angle that you brought here.
Indeed it is, and it helps you learn more about yourself and other people at the same time. Yep. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you taking the time to reach out and invite me to be here and give people another way to find me and give me a way to talk more about the stuff that I love and another way to have more experience of this and meet a new interviewer and all that stuff too.
Yeah,
So
great.
thank you.
Again, you're the treat here. All right, I'm shutting it down as soon as I can find how to do this.